All right, thank you very much, Fred. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. How are you? How you all doing? I hope you guys are doing
You're fine.
fine. Apologize for the late launching of the Zoom because there are some problems with the IT. Welcome. This evening's meeting is the theme of the meeting is about nostalgia. I will explain something about it later. And well, before explaining about this thing, let me just okay. What I'm gonna do, I will just explain what about what's all about. You know, the thing is with nostalgia is that it's something that triggers the emotion, right? Nostalgia itself is sentimentality for the past, typically for a period with a happy when you feel happy in the past and you longing for it. And why am I telling this? Well, for those who were present in my speech 2 weeks ago, I was talking about the my trip with my family and something that triggered from that, and then I decided to to give the theme for this evening. What triggers the emotion? What triggers the longing for the past? It can be the film that we saw. It can be the music that we hear. It can be picture from our youth. It can be the smells of a perfume or the smell of a nice food from someone or from your neighbors, and it appears that you remember the food from your childhood, for instance. It can be anything. And how can we present this thing to the audience, and why is it important? Because it gives the emotion. And one thing that we know, our audience love to catch the emotion, right? Audience love to catch the emotion from the speaker and how to convey that emotion. Well, this is also something that we may learn this evening. Okay, let's talk about this evening's Toastmaster meeting. In Toastmaster is also about how we improve ourselves in speaking, in public speaking. In order to improve that, we need people to give feedback, right? So we have speakers, we also have evaluation for the speakers, but we also have people who will provide the evaluation for the time. For this evening, we have a timer. Is else. Else, can you describe your role?
Yes, time is of the essence. We are all living these days in a world where we want to do lots of things, so we want activities to be of a previously already notified time. If somebody says from this activity is 3 hours and then it suddenly becomes 5 hours, I don't think most of us will be happy. So in speeches as well, it's good if we somehow stick to the time. Through the chat, I've shared with you the agenda. There you will see on the right-hand side, there is always times. Toastmasters have official timing cards, so I will use them. If you are at the minimum time, you will see the green in my screen. If you are somehow halfway between minimum and maximum time, there is what we call yellow or amber color. And if you are at the maximum time, you will see the red. Now, the idea is that when you see the red, start wrapping up your speech. If you would be in an official contest, you will have only 30 seconds to finish your speech before you're disqualified. We're not as strict as that, but nevertheless, when you see the red, see if you can finish off your speech. At the end of the meeting, I come back and report the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Els, for the explanation. For tonight, apparently we don't have a counter. Does anyone would like to volunteer to give, to be an A counter? One time? No one? All right, then maybe what I'm going to suggest, since we have, that will be, do we have general evaluator? Yes, we have a general evaluator, yes. Okay, maybe, yeah, Magdalena, please explain your role.
Yeah, I will try to, at least for the main speeches, also count our and all the stops. I cannot promise I will do it for everyone, but I will do my best. And for the main role for today, I will catch the points which are good in our meeting and points which can improve in the future to make it even better, more interesting, and more enjoyable. And how can we improve? So hopefully it will go everything well, but for sure, always there's something what can go better. So thank you very much, and back to you, Faisal.
Thank you, Magdalena, for the explanation. Now, last but not least, we have to go back to Els because she is going to give us a quiz master. Isn't it right, Els?
Yes, and the inspiration of the quiz tonight came from the Rotterdam Toastmaster meeting, where we actually had a debate. So, dear Toastmasters, what is the difference between debate and discussion? Difference between debate and discussion. Yes, Sina.
Debate has some rules, and in discussion you don't have any rules. And it's also in the discussion is usually in a time frame. You have a time boxed, and yeah, discussion is not time boxed, and the debate is.
Yes, debate is more formal. It's indeed a contest, so you try to win between individuals or teams. Discussion is less formal, an exchange of ideas, information between a group of people. So that can be 2 or 3, or it doesn't have to be as evenly matched as a debate. Now, what is the key factor in winning a debate? Because we said a contest, you want to win. What is a key factor in winning a debate? Anybody?
Being right.
Oh, Sina again. But Jonathan, did you contribute?
I'm sorry. Yes, I did.
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I was saying the person that wins the debate is probably the one that's right.
Oh. But in the eye of who will that person be right? So, Sina, what do you
That's
think?
the next question. Yeah. That's the next question.
It's about
that's not my experience.
Experience. Sina, what do you say?
it is about convincing the other person.
Yes. I have actually know your subject. You have to be able to bring across that you are most knowledgeable on the subject. You might not be. It can also be just presentation, just the way you actually bring it on the table. Hopefully you do have some arguments to make it a strong case, but know your subject. And what do you use to combat the opposite side in a debate? What do you use to combat the opposite side? Anybody? Faisal?
Maybe arguments.
Oh, Dominica.
Maybe you use arguments.
Yes. Any
Facts,
arguments?
facts, figures.
Mm,
It's good if you understand the other one's position. So a debate is really listening. What does the other person actually bring in? And then the argument is somehow to counteract it, to somehow make it less plausible or diminish the strength of their argument, or put another argument against it that comes across stronger, more authentic, more believable, more realistic. Okay? That's the quiz for tonight. I come back at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Els. Right, then let's go to our next session is the speeches. Our first speaker will be given by a new member of Toastmaster. She probably, I don't remember if she just started this month, and she will present her icebreaker speech. The purpose of the speech is to deliver a speech on any topic as an introduction to the club using any style that appeals. The title of her speech is The Myth of the Dragon. Please give a big applause to Amaru Gonzalez.
Thank you, Faisal. Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to thank you all to allow me to start my journey in Toastmasters with you. I'm very enthusiastic to get to know you, each of you, and learn and discover the reasons why you decided to join this inspiring organization. As Faisal said, I am Amaru Gonzalez, and I will be one of the speakers of tonight. And this is my first project here, the Icebreaker. I guess you are wondering about the title of the speech, The Myth of the Dragon. Well, that's actually the meaning of my name. Amaru is a supernatural creature in Quechua culture, with the shape of a dragon, half llama and half snake, was believed to be capable of transpassing the boundaries between the spiritual world and the real one. Sounds cool, right? I invite you to check some pictures after the meeting and discover which part was half snake and which part was half llama. After this fun fact, I would like to continue with my introduction. I am a junior process engineer here in Rotterdam, and I'm a recent graduate at TU Delft. I did there my master's in chemical engineering. I am originally from Spain, but my ambition to discover the world and expand my knowledge drove me here to the Netherlands. And this is this same ambition that drives me here tonight. After working a few years, I realized which direction I want to take in my career, and I know that you will help me to achieve it. In this brief introduction, I would like to talk about my main traits, my curiosity, and my extroversion, and my personal and career goals that I know you will help me to develop. If I had to define myself with just one word, I would say curious. My curiosity has taken me everywhere I live in, from Argentina to the Netherlands, passing through the UK and Spain, and has allowed me to experience as many hobbies and adventures as you can imagine, from modern calligraphy to belly dance, and from studying a master's to take a gap year and working as a bartender. I'm grateful that I have been able to enjoy all these experiences and fully integrate everywhere I go due to my communication skills. I am a people person. I thrive working in teams, and I get the energy when I'm surrounded by people. I am that type of person that as soon as I have a chance, I will talk with new people. This is why I'm always involved in volunteering activities and in committees everywhere my life has taken me. My curiosity and my extraversion combines with my ambition of making a responsible and positive impact in the world, which brings me to my last point. After working a few years in the workplace, I realized how few female leaders are out there and how this limits the imagination and ambition of women at younger ages due to the lack of female role models and the visibility of jobs that they could get. This is why acknowledging my potential and my privileges, I feel I have the responsibility of working on my leadership skills and becoming a future leader that could inspire next generations. With this last point, I am reaching the end of my speech, but first, I would like to summarize the key findings that you have discovered about me tonight. First, I have a very interesting name. We don't have doubts about it, right? Second, I am a very curious person, always up for challenges and adventures. 3, I am a very extroverted person with good communication skills. And finally, I have the ambition to become a future leader that could inspire next generations. To finalize my speech, I would like to quote one of my favorite writers and leaders, Sheryl Sandberg. Being confident and believing in your own self-worth is very important to achieve it's necessary to achieve your, sorry, it's important to achieve your own potential. Thank you. Good night. Back to you, Faisal.
Thank you very much, Amaru. Very nice speech indeed, that we know more about you and your aspiration. I will give you 1 minute for evaluation, to finish the evaluation to Amaru. I believe 1 minute has passed. Yeah, okay. I saw Elsa forget to give me the time. Right, our second speaker. Our second speaker will give a speech from Presentation Mastery. This will be his third speech. The purpose of this speech is to present either a new speech or the same speech that incorporates some or all of the feedback received from the presentation of the first speech. The title of the speech is The Quality of Sleep Related to Food. Please give a big warm applause to Sina. Go ahead.
Thank you, Toastmaster Faisal. Good evening, everyone, and welcome, everyone. Is here anyone who experienced sleep difficulties? Please raise your hand. Now, I see some hands. I think that everyone will face some sleep difficulties during their lifespan. If it's for some time, we see it like normal, but when it becomes chronic, then we start to worry. Some of us will reach for help, and the other ones will ignore and continue to live miserably like I did for a couple of years. Around my 20s, my sleep difficulty started gradually, sleep problems started gradually. This could be caused by stress or maybe some social pressure and so on. I used to sleep for 7 to 8 hours, but I was still tired and I felt usually miserable, and I had very bad concentration, and I was too reactive towards people. So it was kind of landed in a loop. My sleep quality went backwards, and because of that, I felt miserable. And when I felt miserable, my sleep quality went even more backwards. And at some point, I collapsed. I was hoping it would get better, but it never happened. I decided to do something about it. I didn't see going to the doctor or using any medication as a solution. So what I did, I put more effort on my quality of my sleep to improve my sleep quality. And so I did lots of research, basically. I found out there are many articles, books, and lots of researches about sleep problems and how to solve them. And those solutions doesn't work actually for everyone. But it didn't work. At least it didn't work for me very much. Trust me, I did lots of research. Maybe for a couple of months, I stopped working. I was focusing to improve my sleep so that I could live better life. I had one more option left, and working on my eating habits. The first thing what I did, I started with fasting. The first time I fasted for 36 hours, and that night I couldn't sleep. And the next day when I woke up, I felt really terrible. I thought to myself, I'm going to use medication, or I'm going to reach to the doctor and solve the problem. It's the easy way. But something in me didn't allow me to do that. Something in me didn't allow me to do that. So what I did, I'm lost. Something in me didn't allow me to do that. I said, you know what? Don't hurry. Let's try for a couple of days with fasting and eating less. And so I tried for a couple of more days. I thought to myself, if it doesn't work, the solution is around the corner. I could go to the doctor or try some other medication, sleep medication. After 36 hours of fasting, I didn't eat very much. My energy levels went down. I thought I'm going to die, to be honest. But that night, I slept like I was dead. And the next day when I woke up, I felt direct the result actually. Because I slept pretty well, I felt better, and that gave me some more hope. What I did, so I started to work on my eating habits. Yeah, I started to eat one meal a day for a couple of weeks, and I saw that my sleep quality was improving. Yeah, I've got 2 minutes. So my sleep problem was improving. I woke up every day with more energy, and I was quite happy. And in the beginning, it was very difficult to work on my eating habits. After some time and with some discipline, I could manage. I could manage it. Nowadays, I sleep 5 to 6 hours a day, and my energy levels are quite okay. But I feel quite happy about it. I'm still working on that. So what works for me? I'm not an expert in food, but to some extent, I know how my body behaves certain types of foods. When I perform much physical activities, yeah, I eat differently. I can handle some heavy food, but when I do more mental activities during the day, I eat differently. I eat vegetables and fruits, nuts, and seeds. Let me not forget to mention the quantity matters very much. At the moment, I eat twice a day, and I don't eat very much. So the conclusion is, if you get any sleep problems, don't forget to take the quality and the quantity of the food into consideration. When you perform more physical activities during a day, you can have some heavy food like eating meat. And when you perform lots of mental activities, you should eat. You should eat different stuff like vegetables, fruits, and nuts, for example. So yeah, what might work for me might not work for everyone. But in general, eating less and eating healthy food will definitely improve your sleep quality. Last, I would like to add, if you want to improve the quality of your life, please work on your sleep quality and not the quantity of the sleep. Thank you. Back to the Toastmaster, Faisal.
Thank you very much, Sina. Very nice and very informative about the food. You are what you eat, definitely indeed. I will give you 1 minute for evaluation. All right, the 1 minute is up. Our third speaker, he will present also the speech from the presentation mastery This would be his fourth speech, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The purpose of the speech is present either a new speech or the same speech that incorporates. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, correct. Or all of the feedback received from the presentation of the first speech. The title of his speech is Bad Habits. And please give a big warm applause to Maximilian Meshkov.
What is the first thing you do when you wake up? Please raise now your hand if you go directly to the bathroom. Or after the bathroom, what are you doing there? Are you going then to the breakfast, maybe drink a tea or coffee? Please raise your hand. Not everyone? Okay, who of you maybe, I don't know, read something or does sports? There are also some. And who of you has as the first thing in the morning that he takes the phone and scrolls them on social media? Is there someone? If I would have received this question around 3 to 4 years ago, I would have to raise now my hand. Because every time when I wake up in the past in the morning, I get used to just taking my phone and click on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and just scrolling down. And I mean, of course, the news in sports, the news in, I don't know, economics, politics, wherever, you just want to be informed. And especially on weekends, so a few years ago, I waked up more or less at 7:30 a.m. in the weekend. I set my clock. The clock then rings, and I open my phone. And at punctually at 7:30, I stop my clock. And then finally at 8:15, I reached the bathroom because I spent 45 minutes only scrolling on Facebook. And then I'm staying there in the bathroom, brushing my teeth, looking into the mirror, and start to feel these regrets. I wasted my time, 45 minutes. And every morning I did the same. Every day I said the same. This will be the last time. I know I wasted this morning, but tomorrow I will do it differently. I will stop with that. And of course, I didn't stop. It was a bad habit, and I need to stop that. It went further for several weeks and months, till I would say I reached a tipping point, till I really realized that over the day, I felt very tired. I didn't have that much energy, and I could not work as efficient as I would like to do. And this was the point and the time when I started to take it seriously. I started to fight against something which held me back, my bad habit. And this bad habit was actually also all my decision. Therefore, I took the decision to fight against it. So what did I make? The first thing what I made, actually, I tried to make it more visible. The first thing what I had is I opened the phone and I see notifications on social media and so on. So just block them. And I also removed the apps from the home screen. I mean, it's an easy thing. And I have to say it improved a bit. It helped me a bit. However, it's still not that hard to open Facebook again if you just have it on our screen. So I went further. What was next? Yeah, I tried to make it more on a psychological way. Okay, I'm a person who has a great morning routine. This is what I said to me, and this is what I started to believe. I tried to identify with it. And I have to say, I improved a little bit. I look at my smartphone before I even open Facebook, and I look and I feel like, wow, if I feel already the regrets. So it started to help a bit. However, it was still not that I had won against my habit. I still used it. I still opened the phone, but at least I decreased the time. It was a small success. After a few weeks, I started a different approach. And this is a secret. I took the phone and put it on a table. I increased just the difference, I increased just the steps in order to make my bad habit. So because I had to wake up, get to the table, stop my alarm clock, and I'm here already staying here. I don't lie in the bed anymore, so I can just go straight to the bathroom, right? After months of doing this, and after months of really trying different things out and having small improvements, but not really breakthroughing, I could actually achieve it that I decreased my time from 30 to 45 minutes a day to 0 minutes a day. And even today, my first 2 hours are social media free. Anyway, it took very long time, right? I mean, it took months to fight against this habit. However, it started all with a small point. All started with my decision and then with my small success, my small wins I had. Why do I say all of this? What can you learn about my story? I hope you remember, or at least who were attended there in January, my speech. I made a speech about the book Atomic Habits. And just as a small recap, Atomic Habits, also as the name is telling there, the author writes about that with small changes, with small wins, you can actually make big impact, because if you improve only by 1% a day, if you make things step by step better, they accumulate, they grow, and as compound interest rates, they will shut in the high, and they will then increase a lot and make a big impact. So, and in the end of my speech, I promised to you that I will show to you how to break bad habits. And here we go, so that you can also find bad habits and tackle them. Just in general, it's important to understand what a habit is. A habit starts always with a cue. And a cue is something which makes you aware of the desire, what you want to have. It's not a reward, is it? So it was in my case, my desire to be informed with Facebook, for instance, with social media. So you have your cue, which is, for instance, the notification, and you start to crave for this reward. And after you crave, you want this, you start to respond to this crave. It means you are doing the routine. You're doing the habit. I'm scrolling on Facebook. And how to change this now? Here's how you can go. First is make it invisible. The cue, make the cue invisible. Remove it from your environment. The same way as I removed the notifications, after you identify the bad habit, what gives actually information about it? If you do this, you get your reward. Secondly, make it unattractive. Make sure that you see the benefits of avoiding the bad habit. Third, make it difficult. By doing difficult, what I mean by that is increase the steps between you and your bad habit, like putting your phone on the table. And fourth, make it unsatisfying. Just a small tip, make maybe habit contract with you written down. Always, every time when you do this habit, donate just 100 euro to a foundation or any number which really hurts your pocket. So dear Toastmasters, the life is too short for bad habits. But the good thing is you can decide where you want to go. As I explained with the book, small changes, small wins can really make an impact. And the same way it did for me. Small changes at the beginning, small improvements, they helped me in order to achieve a big impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maximilian. Very informative speech. Can we get 1 minute for the evaluation, please? All right, thank you, Els. Now, since we don't have our fourth speaker, uh, this we will go directly to our next session, and the next session is the table topic master. And our table topic master is Dominica Tess. Dominica, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Now we're going to move into table topics. And as most of you know already, table topics are the part of the meeting where you get to improvise on the spot, answering a question that is asked. So I would really like to encourage for volunteers, and especially those of you who have not had a chance to speak yet, would be great to hear you tonight. And as we already spoke earlier, as Faisal mentioned, the topic of today's meeting is nostalgia. And I prepared a few questions that are related to nostalgia, and I think they were actually touched upon already by Faisal in his introduction. So I think we had the exact same train of thought. I'm just going to look up the questions now. Okay, so I have prepared 4 questions, and I just have 4, and we are going to have 4 volunteers, and these volunteers will just get a random question from me. So I would like to ask the first volunteer. Do we have one? Sorry, I can't see all of you. Okay, can somebody raise their hand? Did we have a volunteer? No, we didn't have one. Now then you're forcing me to pick someone. Okay, no, we have Fred. Okay, great, we have a volunteer. Then Fred, the first question goes to you, and the first question is, what smell brings the most fond memories in you, and why?
The most
want me-
fond memory?
Yeah, like pleasant memories.
Pleasant.
Mhm.
What I most like when I was young, as I still do now, is the summer. Because when it was summer, I would go out in the fields. I would go biking, I would traveling around the region where I lived. And I grew up in the south of Netherlands, as Limburg, and they had hills there. And I went biking through the whole region. I started in the morning at 9 a.m. and I came back at 6, 7 p.m. in the evening. And what I remembered most is when we drove through the landscape, hills up and down. We also drove by the blossom of the trees and also the haystacks. And when we sometimes paused, we took our lunch, we went to the haystacks next to the road and sit there drinking and have a conversation and smelling the summer. You had a real feeling, the warmth, the itchy straw in your back, the birds singing, and the smell of flowers in the neighborhoods. And those moments were very perfect for me because I like summer. I despise winter. And every time I recall it in my mind, I can live through winter. Looking forward to summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Definitely really relatable. I also love the smell of summer. Now, do we have a second volunteer? Thank you, Fred, by the way. Is there someone else? Otherwise, I'm going to pick someone.
Also, the guest may participate.
Do we have a guest volunteer? Angelina? You would like to answer a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Great. So the second question is, what was your best holiday as a child and why?
Okay. As a child, my upbringing was not really the best, I would say. We did not have a lot of money. So when the child support came, that was always on the 1st of April and then the 1st of July. And it was always time that we were allowed to purchase one set of new clothes. Most of the time, my mom just made clothes herself, but then when it became Easter, then we were allowed to buy one new set of clothes, but we were not allowed to wear it. It had to stay in the closet or even outside of the closet and just look at it until the first day of Easter. And then we were allowed to wear it. So that was always a very special moment. I remember as a child that we didn't have an Easter bunny or something like that, but it was just the new clothes. You didn't have to wear hand-me-downs. It was really new to you, and yeah. That freshness, that bright colors, and then the spring, and that all that gave me a very warm feeling of the beginning of the spring. Thank you. Do I have to continue to read, or can I just stop?
No, you can just stop. That's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing.
Oh, okay. I don't know the rules.
One second. So do we have another volunteer? Okay, Amaru. Then your question is, what is the most nostalgic food or flavor from your past?
Thank you, Dominica. Well, certainly, as you know, I don't live in my home country. I moved to the Netherlands to study my master's and I stayed here. And one of the things that I miss the most is the food of my mom. My mom is from Argentina, and that's why the reason of my name and this heritage that I have. And she loves to cook Argentinian food. One of the specialities that she has is empanadas. There are these little pastries filled with meat or chicken in a very saucy stew. Even though now I'm vegan, and she had to find a way to make these little pastries adapted to my new food restrictions, I still love them. And every time that I go to visit my parents, she made this tray of empanadas for me, so I can also take them with me for a few days whenever I'm back here in the Netherlands. And this is what I miss the most. Thank you. Back to you, Dominica.
Thank you, Amaru. It reminds me of this Polish food we have there called pierogi, and they're also a little bit like the empanadas, like small little dumplings. Very delicious. Thank you for sharing. And then we have the last person. Do we have the last volunteer? Or do I have to pick someone? No. Great, Jonathan. The question that goes towards you is, what movie makes you feel most nostalgic? You're on mute, yeah.
Yeah, I had to think there for a little bit. So the one movie that makes me most nostalgic is probably the same movie that makes many people within this room nostalgic. It's a movie about loss. It's a movie about fighting. It's a movie which is very emotional, both for the younger ones and also the parents which are watching. It's a movie that takes place in Africa, on the savannas of Africa, and it involves the animal kingdom. I think most of you guys pretty much have an idea where I'm heading towards. Maybe Hakuna Matata rings a bell. That's definitely the movie that brings the best nostalgic or the most nostalgic feeling inside of me. Even after not having seen the movie for 8 years, I saw it back on Netflix about 2 years ago, and I was literally crying next to my girlfriend. Well, okay, now at least she knows who I really am, right? I mean, there's obviously more movies out there that I enjoyed. I'm a big lover for action movies. Titanic is also something which, for some strange reason, I also really much enjoyed. But to answer your question, my most nostalgic movie was definitely The Lion King. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Well, Faisal, then the floor goes back to you. Table topics is finished.
Thank you, Dominica. Thank you for the question as well, and it's really trigger some emotions of the audience as well. So, and then we also get to know more about our members, right? Right. Let's go to our next session is the evaluation of the speech. Our first evaluator is Cecile. Cecile will evaluate the speech of Amaru. Cecile, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I contacted Amaru for what she wanted to be evaluated on, and she gave me a very long list of things she wanted me to evaluate her on. I find it very courageous if you do your icebreaker and then you want to be evaluated as someone who has been on the international stage. That's chapeau for being so courageous. To start with, I think that all speakers did it, but she stood, because I see too often at Zoom I can just sit behind my bureau and give the speech like that, but she was just standing delivering her speech. I find that that makes a speech much better. She was also open, and she was how do you say that in English? She was good humored, and she also used body language. And if you can do all that in your icebreaker, then you have a very bright future in speeching, I think. Looking at what could be done better, well, as I said, for an icebreaker, it was almost perfect. But I think it would be good for her to look at the video a few times I know it's very difficult to give a good presentation on Zoom, but the distance between you and the camera should be a little bit bigger, so that you have more room to express yourself. Also move a little bit. I know it's difficult, but that would be very powerful. And also practice your vocal variety a little bit. If you would do that, then maybe you will go to the top in international speech in 2 or 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecile, for the evaluation of Amaru's speech. Our second evaluator is Gian. Gian will evaluate the speech of Sina. Gian, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Faisal, for that introduction. Sina, go ahead. I had the pleasure to accommodate you the first time you entered Toastmasters, not too long ago. I now have the pleasure to evaluate your speech. Sina, first of all, let me start by saying that your comfort level is noticeably increasing and you look more at ease. Your topic is an excellent topic. It grasped my attention immediately, but maybe I am a bit biased, as this is a subject that is very close to my heart. I am really into the realm of biohacking. Thank you for that. Just a small fact that I would like to share with the group. Did you all know that the quality of sleep will extend lifespan and reduce inflammation? For me, it is absolute nostalgia, thinking back on the good quality of sleep before having 3 kids. Sina, back to you. I really liked the fact that you were standing up. You have a good body composure. And I love the fact that you recovered after you lost track of your speech. You actually improved a little bit after the first time you lost track. If you would allow me to share some suggestions on how you can improve your speech. First of all, Sina, maybe you can consider trying to control your breathing. It will appear as you are more calm. You might also want to try to record your presentation and look it back to smoothen it out a bit more, that it becomes more natural and that you can flow more naturally. Sina, to round off, this is very important. Please keep a positive outlook and let's celebrate your bravery. Stepping up to the plate, as Fred would say. And I'm absolutely looking forward to your next speech. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Gian, for the evaluation of Sina's speech. Now let's go for our third evaluator. And this will be given by Fred. Fred, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Maximilian, bad habits. Who doesn't have them? More. I like the speech. This is the topic you chose. And I found the speech well structured. You brought it with accompanying gestures that were connected to your speech. And you started with a question, which meant you involved the audience from the start, because everyone, I think, including me, will have to think, okay, bad habits, what do I start with? So that's a real good thing. What you made to work on, of course, is I noticed that you used a lot of the words and so, and sometimes yeah. you need to delete that. You can try to use other words or stop the sentence or take a breath to emphasize some parts of the story. When you make a little pause, you put more attention to that part of the story, even when it's different parts within the story. So start using, not to challenge yourself, start using even more variations of pauses, volume, and tone. From the beginning, you asked me, okay, let's watch all my storytelling. The story was nice. You brought it fluently. I said I listened from the beginning to the end. And you also gave some lesson at the end. So recap, very important to start using emotions, make the difference between the volumes and tones, and make the difference between the end and the beginning. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Fred, for the evaluation. Well, we're almost there, but let me just give some of the things that we have learned so far. I mean, as you know, that is also about nostalgia, and from this theme, we know how to at least give emotion or take emotion from the audience, and we got to know more the members, other members, and what else do we learn? Anything? Anyone else would like to share? But okay, let's put it back to the end of the meeting. For now, let's bring our timer and let's see how actually we do with the time.
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, because I was informed that I would be evaluating Guillaume's evaluation. Can you guys hear me still?
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Sorry.
No worries. Yes, I also just get to know in the beginning of the meeting. So, yeah. So I'm gonna briefly start. So first of all, I would say Guillaume is already very experienced speaker, as I can see from the speech pace and all the pauses. And always I see that Guillaume is having the smiley face. I think that's very important as an evaluator, because then you feel approachable, and then I will say the people who are here to learn, I mean, they feel like you're approachable and they will reach out to you. And that's when the conversation really starts and people really start to be friends and improve each other. And the one last thing is, small thing is that I remember a few months ago, Guillaume always trying to find the right spot for the lights. But now I see that it's a good spot, and Guillaume's light was pretty good. So that's how the excelled parts. To challenge Guillaume a little bit, I would say the first thing is that I realized already in the beginning of the meeting, Guillaume, you are moving a little bit too much. I can imagine that especially for physical meetings, you need to move your body, move your head to, I would say I mean, it's fine because it's from far distance, but in front of the camera, I would say just by what I'm doing, like moving my hands a little bit, is already enough. If you move your head too much, it's looks a bit too much. Secondly, it's the eye contact. I would see that maybe you're using different screens, but what I see is that I think maybe you have notes on one side, and you also have the I would say the screen on the other side. I can imagine that it's jumping back and forth for you to see the notes. But what's more, I think it's also important to have yourself looking at the camera, right? We already spoken it many times, so I would not repeat. And lastly, I will say an interesting tip for everybody, can be useful, especially at night. That's what I'm using, because now especially I have a lot of evening calls. So let's just do a very quick interesting exercise. Yeah. So now it's green. I still have a couple of seconds. Now you guys can, if you guys look at my face, now it's normal, right? It's not like a very bright, correct? So now I do this. Can you see? Can you guys see that my face is more bright? You can see, right? So I would say sometimes I'm like switching back and forth, like to the Zoom and then to my notes, because my notes is like Excel, Word, so it's much more, because of the background, it's more bright, so it's more bright. And if I close everything, it's blue because my Windows is blue. So my tip is that what I do is usually I would smaller I would say the meeting, and so it's also less pressure from the person because it's not a large screen. And now I would open my Excel always like this. So that's the light on my face will not be sometimes too bright and sometimes too dark. So I would say that hopefully this is going to be a useful tip for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, I didn't realize that you will be the fourth evaluator. So it's just come all of a sudden 2 minutes before I just give a speech. But anyway, now let's give the time to timer. How are we doing with the timer, Else? The floor is yours.
Excellent. Excellent. We are doing so well. So, Magdalena, I had you down for 1 minute and I exceeded the time for the quiz as quite often. I'm sorry, 3 minutes to 5. Amaru, you actually gave a speech of 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Sina, you exceeded a little bit, 7 minutes, 48 seconds. And as if you had agreed upon it, Maximilian had exactly the same time, 7 minutes, 48 seconds. Dominica, the start of your table topics was 1 minute 43. They were very good table topics. I must recognize that one. All the speakers had a lot to say about it. Well done. Because Fred talked for 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Well done, Fred. Angelina talked for 1 minute and 51 seconds. Very good. Amaru for 1 minute and 33 seconds. And Jonathan for 1 minute and 28 seconds. Then we came to the evaluators. And I think we pronounce the name proper by Sizzle, right? Sizzle, actually, you spoke for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Gian, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Fred, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And then Daniel finished with 2 minutes 56. So I think we did extremely well, Faisal.
Thank you very much, Else. Then let's go to the general evaluator of the evening. Magdalena, how are we doing?
Yes.
Generally?
Also a counter. So I managed to do also a counting of stops, at least for the speakers and evaluators and table topics. So we have 2 winners, it's Fred and Gian with 0 stops. So it was really fluent and really good job, guys. And let's go to speakers. Amaru, I think 4. So you had some on the beginning and later maybe 1, but it was really for the icebreaker, really good job. Sina, you had 24. Maximilian, I counted 1. For evaluators, Cecil 11. Gian, as I mentioned, 0. Fred 0. Daniel 3. Table topics, Fred again 0. Angelina 4. Amaru 2. And Jonathan 8. Table topics are tricky. Let's go to general evaluation. First of all, Faisal, thank you very much for the topic of the day. And together with Dominica, you combined it together with table topics, and that works really well. I think we can, and we should repeat it more often because the whole meeting makes more sense and it has a nice form. Else, once again, thank you for the quiz, because the quiz brings us additional knowledge and that's additional value, which is really, really important. we had some troubles to start the meeting, but I think after that it went really well, and it was a successful meeting. So thank you very much, all of you. And Sina, you are a very active member. Last meeting you had a speech, and again you have a speech. So thank you for that. We really appreciate active members. Thank you guys for being today in the evening here. And that was a great meeting. Back to you, Faisal.
Right, thank you, Magdalena. Well, at least, if anything, that you could give us some point for improvement next time, that would be great. Well, sometimes that it's nice to have like nice words, but somehow like if we want really to improve ourselves, we need some really spicy stuff that
Sorry, because of Corona, I have a depression, so I just need to create a good atmosphere.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much. And now let's go back to our quiz master, Els. I guess the time that you will ask again the questions to the audience.
And the first question was, what's the difference between a debate and a discussion? Who remembers the key points? Anybody? Dominica?
Yes, so the debate is timed and it has more rules, it's more formal, whereas the discussion is less formal and has less of predefined structure.
Very good. I agree with that phrasing. Well done. What is a key factor in winning a debate? What is a key factor in winning a debate? Yes.
Counter arguments?
Sorry.
Did somebody raise their hand?
Amaru did.
Go ahead, Amaru.
Listening?
Yes. You have to
make
be a
your
good
point
listener.
across.
Dominica, what did you add?
I said counter arguments, which have to do with listening as well.
Exactly. Together you are a very strong team. You can go in a debating team here. Now, what do you use to combat the opposing side? What makes you win? What do you use?
Your listening skill.
Yes, yes, but what in particular? After you have listened, what do you do?
Providing argument?
Yes, you must be able to combat the opposition with sound arguments. And therefore, the audience will think that your arguments are stronger, are more convincing, are more credible than the other party. And by having those strong arguments, credible arguments, authentic arguments, you win the debate. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Els. I just want to share with you all that last year I attended this debate debate contest by Toastmaster from different district, and it was very interesting. I went to Bulgaria, and I think District 109, we had this debate contest as part of their fall event. And maybe if we are interested in doing the same for fall, we can do it as well for in the division level. And from the contest itself, it is true that you have to provide sound argument in order to win the contest. And well, that's small thing about the debate. Right. And I would like to give the floor to our, yes, please, Dominica, say something.
Yeah, I would just like to say something. I am going, this is the last meeting of the club that I have joined, and I'm really.
Oh, did she just gone?
Oh. Oh.
Okay. All right. This is a bit awkward, but I hope she will come back again. Um, but anyway, hopefully she will try to dial back. Let's now give the floor to our president, Fred. Do you have something to say?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, a bit awkward, but happened now. First of all, I would like to know. We have, of course, visitors. So Angelina, Esther, and Johan, Jonathan. Sorry. So I would like to know how there was impression, because they were here somewhere for the first time. So I would like to give the word to. Okay, let's first Esther. Would you like to come?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I find it very accessible. The subjects were very accessible, and the subtext, also the beginning to the end, and the feedback in the subjects are very clearly to me. So I find it very accessible and very clear, and very friendly.
Great. That's also always the intention, to have a friendly, because we are a safe environment. When people try to learn to speak, we give positive feedback. People, of course, here are to learn. We learn here to fail.
Yes, it's very friendly feedback.
Yes. Thank you for your opinion, Esther. So I want to proceed now with Angelina. Angelina.
Yeah, it was very nice to meet you guys. It is always a very positive environment, which really fits my work. I was really impressed with the first time that Amaru was doing a speech. She showed a lot of confidence talking, and so there's a lot of potential there. I like that. I like the fact that there's a lot of younger people interested, to see that they have find some other things to do, and now that everything is closed, so that also gives me a good positive feeling. I have been at a Toastmasters in the United States as well as in Leiden. So I was a little bit familiar with the structure and everything. And of course, now that it is all online, it's slightly different. So I wish you all the best of luck in your improvement of speaking. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Dominica is back. Dominica is back.
Glad you enjoyed. I just noticed that no, Dominica is back. So Dominica, the stage is yours again.
Thank you, Fred. Yeah, that was quite a drop. My computer just died at this moment. It was really funny. But yeah, anyways, I am moving away from Rotterdam. I'm going to move to Amsterdam, and I thought well, I don't know what happens in the next few months, but if there is a possibility to go back to offline meetings, then it's probably better if I join a club somewhere near where I'm going to be living. But yeah, my journey with Toastmasters is definitely not finished yet. I want to join the next club, although I'm very sad about leaving Toastmasters 010 because I think it's a great club. And it was really nice being part of the club and getting to know all of you. So that was a very nice experience.
Okay, no problem. Of course, you still will be welcome anytime you want to visit us, online or offline. And due to COVID, we decided already to stay hybrid. So there's not only online, but not only offline, but also online. Because we also want to invite guests in the future as well from other clubs online. So, and I may have to ask you to take the last word again together with Magdalena, but first I'm going to Jonathan. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Hey, Fred. Good evening. Hey, everyone. So yeah, my name is Jonathan, and I was invited by Guian today to join this session of Toastmasters. So I've heard of Toastmasters before in the past, but and somewhere deep in my mind, I had the idea of attending someday, but wasn't really sure when. So when Guian then announced his presence today and his invitation to join, I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to get some experience with the Toastmasters. It's been great so far. I really like the interaction. I do feel that myself, I have a lot to learn in terms of presenting, and I think this could offer a fantastic platform for me to do so. So thank you, Guian, for inviting me to today's meeting, and thank you, everyone, for having me. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to perhaps meeting you again in the future.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan, for your feedback, of course. And I want to go back, of course, now to Magdalena and Dominica, because together they did some research under our members. And you know, in July we'll have to change of executive team. So there will be new elections for a new executive board, so president, VPE, VPPR, of course. But of course, we try to evaluate how we can further on. This we do normal also through a 365 evaluation, where we as a executive team ask what we could have done better, what we can improve on, because for us it's a learning process as well. And we do this in order to try to benefit the members of our club. So Magdalena and Dominica, could you please tell us your findings due to this, what you did with what this information within the members, what your findings were?
Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't prepared to do that tonight.
Okay.
But from the top of my head, the main finding or the main point of improvement was that we need to be more organized, and that meetings start on time, and that the Zoom links are being sent prior to the meeting, and that maybe we start the meeting 7:45 instead of 8, and then only really properly start a few minutes past 8. And I think there were some people being confused about the passwords and where to find it, so that like sometimes there's an email and sometimes there isn't. So I think that's a point of improvement for the club. But another thing was that the business club section at the end of the meeting is usually too long, and that it also stretches over time. Like now it's 9:28 and okay, it happened, but I think we had this more regular issue of things being prolonged when actually maybe we should stick to the timetable more. And this is what I just remember on top of my head, but I would I think it's also a good idea if we write our findings in a few points and then send it out to everybody so that everybody knows what their results were and what we can work on together. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not me anymore, but you as a club. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dominica. Of course, to be in regards to the meeting room, this has been now extended until end of this year, the same room, the same password. So once you have you did receive the password and the meeting room, it will remain always the same until the end of the year. Even though they're going to change, we try to also to make a WhatsApp group for short messages. People wanted to accept this, that we can send short messages in WhatsApp, for instance, when people are missing up. It's also about attendance. So that's one thing which I'm going to ask to you, whether you want to add your phone number to a WhatsApp group, only for short messages, so not complete. The second thing is, well, another thing is the 27th of March, there's the Division E contest. It's very, if you even not participate, it's very great to participate in that. Okay, and this is the 27th, it's also online. I already told you, think about taking up a role in else, yes?
And most importantly, our own club member is going to participate. Max will be participating in the evaluation contest. So,
Yes.
Yes, come.
Thank you, Elsie.
Support your member.
Yes. So if you can, please go to support Maximilian, who's doing the evaluation contest there. Of course. Think also about taking a role as an executive for the next period, which starts in July, but so we can also vote on the attendance of becoming a executive team. The last thing what I want to tell is about, since we are going to promote our club more, I'm going to start a speechcraft program. For the ones who don't know that, speechcraft is a program which is developed within Toastmasters. It's a lighter version of the Toastmasters to give non-Toastmasters the opportunity to learn public speaking, and to become sure of public speaking. That will be about 8 sessions, and we will also add to that a half year probably of a membership to Toastmasters Club. So it's very challenging. So that's the thing I want to know. Else, do I have to say anything more, or that's all? I
think for now it's all.
Okay. So that's all. So please think about the last thing we talked about, the executive team. Stepping up, as Jean already mentioned, to the plate to become an executive. If there are any questions, let me please know. I'm open to questions. Or...
No, we're going to miss Dominica. Oh.
Yeah, Dominica.
Yeah.
I'm very sad to see you leave.
Very sad.
Yes, yeah. And you're going to Amsterdam. Now, I'm not a Rotterdam native. If I was a Rotterdam native, they would shout at you what you're going to do in Amsterdam.
You know already which club are you joining?
Like that.
No, I haven't looked into it yet. I'm gonna take a little break because I have to move and stuff. So.
Yeah, okay, but feel free to contact us. We can recommend you to have a club there. So,
yeah, no, definitely.
And of course,
all right.
We follow your journey and we keep in touch, of course.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for attending this meeting, and I hope you all learned something from it. And I'll see you next time. Have a good evening.
Good evening.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.